Hey guys, welcome to the webinar, and thanks so much for showing up early. It looks like we still have about a minute left until we're officially slated to go. So until then, just sit back, relax, and yeah, get settled. All right, so looks like it's just about time for us to get started. So thank you guys so much for showing up today. My name is Dheeraj Panani. I'm a customer experience evangelist here at Birdeye, and I create content that can help your business be found, be chosen, and be the best. So this is how customer experience can supercharge your business growth. This will be a fireside chat with our special guest for the day. So one quick bit of housekeeping before we get started. We do have a Q&A session at the end. So if at any point you have a question for something I bring up or something that the guest brings up, feel free to leave it into the chat box. Even if you can't stick around till the end, we'll make sure one of our team members reaches out to you. Now, without further ado, so at Birdeye, we're big believers in the power of customer experience. I mean, we're living in the experience economy. And what that means is that it's easy for any customer to find the best business in their area through businesses like Facebook, or I'm sorry, sites like Facebook and Google. So basically what that means is the businesses that win are the businesses that are able to deliver fantastic experiences in every step of the journey. Now, I talked a little bit about how great experiences can help you get discovered on review sites. Great experiences can also get you discovered through customer referrals. I mean, customers happy, they're more likely to refer your business. When you're able to offer seamless connection experiences through channel like email, text messaging, website chat, you're gonna get connected with customers. They're gonna be taking more of your deals, their sales. Um, that means higher loyalty and more revenue. And when you're using the feedback from reviews and surveys to improve your operations, you're the best business in the area. I mean, it's a virtuous cycle, better reviews, more referrals. Great to see. Now, we'll get started with our discussion very soon, but before that, a few stats to set the scene here. I'll read them out for you. 65% of customers find a positive experience with a brand to be more influential than great advertising. 2/3 of customer loyalty is driven by customer experience, and 67% of customers say their standard for good experiences is better than it's ever been. Powerful stuff. I mean, the message here is that great customer experience helps you reach more leads. It helps you keep your current customers, and it's even more important because the standard and customer expectations are higher than ever. Well, enough from me. I do want to take some time and introduce our guest for the day. His name is Richard King. He's the Customer Experience Manager at Montway Auto Transport. So Richard, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Awesome,
Let me
awesome.
turn on my webcam for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
There
Fantastic.
you are. So before we get started with the discussion, I'd love to hear a little bit more about Montway Auto Transport, what you guys do, and what your role is at the company.
Sure. Well, most people probably don't know what we do unless you've ever transported a car. I mean, we're one of the, if not the biggest company in our sector, but auto transport is, well, it's not an everyday thing for most people. It's a pretty niche industry type, and because of that, our reviews and our customer experiences are more important than ever. Most people only ship a car once in their life, and it's important that we provide a fantastic service to them. So my job here is basically to, I monitor our reputation, our feedback, both internal and external from our customers, carriers that we work with, and our other employees and representatives in the various different industry types that we work with. And we kind of take that information and take action from it. What can we do to improve our services based on that feedback?
Got it. Got it. That's great to hear. So I'd like to kick off this discussion by asking one question. What are some challenges that you guys are currently facing in the wake of COVID-19 and in terms of customer experience?
Right. Yes. It's a very interesting factor. Our company is, we kind of pitch ourselves and put ourselves out there as kind of an innovator in our field, and we're always looking at new technologies and ways in which we can service our customers better and do it more efficiently. So in the wake of COVID, obviously it's a huge deal and it continues to be a huge deal, unfortunately. And right now, as you can see, I'm in my apartment, a studio apartment in Chicago. And the rest of our team is, I mean, our main office is located in Chicago, and we have employees all over the world. And most of us right now in the U.S. specifically, we're working remote. In order for us to do this, we were in a big office building, and it was kind of a situation where we had to make a quick decision, for the better of our employee base, and we kind of just uprooted within the span of a couple of weeks, and got our tech team. They making sure everybody had what they needed to get set up on every end and whatnot, and we were quickly able to facilitate everything. It works for us specifically just because we're kind of already, we're an online company. You don't really we don't have like a face-to-face, in person, kind of session. So that is a benefit to us.
Right.
It allows us to, just be able to work from anywhere, kind of thing. But even still, we in the office environment is going from that in-office environment with your friends and coworkers all the time to this weird new world that we live in. It definitely presents some challenges that we definitely been taking steps to address, and we're still addressing even now. As new things come to light and we learn more about what what it's like to do this. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're all learning a lot day by day. So, uh, as you mentioned, you guys are working remote. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's not a big team to work in the first place, at least the customer experience team. So, can you tell us about how, even with these limited resources, you're staying on top of customer experience? Yeah, I believe you guys do services across the country. So,
Yes, yeah, we service. I mean, our primary service area is the United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. We do help with overseas shipments as well, but we're mostly focused in states. In order to help customers get their vehicle moved. As far as my team, we're not really big. We're only a few people, and honestly, it is. I'll be honest with you, it's hard. We're definitely not, we try to stay on top of the biggest issues and as many issues as that we can. But even still, we're not able to address everything. I think that's a realistic thing to state for most companies out there. It's difficult. We have a lot of
right,
customers who never-ending feedback cycle. So it's we have to we do have a priority system, and we sometimes have to pick and choose our battles and what exactly we're addressing. But like I said, we do have a priority system, and we tag situations and everything, so that way we know what we need to address right now, and what we can maybe push back a little bit to deal with later. But we do try to follow up with at least every negative issue that we have. That is the main focus for us. And even passive and promoter customers as well. We still try to follow up with them, even if their issue is small. Sometimes you'll get a 4 or 5 star review or something, but the customer will point out some glaring flaw in their review that was just I can't believe you gave us that good of a rating. I appreciate it, but no, we still want to make sure we address that issue at some point.
Right.
So we'll get to them eventually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's great that your team's doing that. I mean, a lot of businesses don't see the value of responding to negative reviews, but most of the time, people are reasonable. You know, if they see you're making a reasonable effort to go out and try to get the issue fixed, a lot of the times they'll change that review or, delete the original negative review. So, um,
Yes, that's definitely true. I mean, I just had an issue this morning that I reached out to the customer about, and they were just happy about the very fact that somebody reached out to them who cared about the problem. Yeah, like it wasn't even like a matter of, and that was before I even like offered them a solution. I because they were just happy with the fact that somebody cared enough to contact them, and that makes a huge difference because, like you said, not a lot of companies actually do reach out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, there's always the vocal minority that's just never satisfied, but yeah, what can you do?
Hope.
Yeah, good answer, good answer. So, but, we were talking before this, and you told me about how Montway collects customer feedback through reviews and surveys. Can you tell me about some of the ways that you're collecting these reviews and collecting these surveys?
Sure. We do use a variety of tools, Birdeye being one of them, um, in order to facilitate that information. And we're definitely looking on new ways to continue to collect feedback at different areas in the process and try to put that all together
Right.
because we do collect a lot of feedback. With the tools we use, all of them offer their own, give us a rating kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we do monitor that. We use like Help Scout for emails. They always like every email you send dial pad. They have the option to rate your conversation and everything, and we collect all that data. And we use Birdeye for review collection and surveys as well. And we have a general survey that we sent out, but we are definitely doing more specific surveys as well. And just trying to gather as much information as possible. That's the thing, and it's a lot to manage and go through. But the tools we're using are definitely helping in order to process that. Just because, like I said, it is a lot, and some of the issues are definitely well known, some not so much, and we also tag a lot of things and try to just sort. That's the biggest thing. We collect reviews on multiple different avenues and kind of just put it all together and then go from there.
Got it. Got it. One thing I'd like to ask is just, I mean, you talked a little bit about sending surveys. I'd love to hear a little bit more information about, some of the more general surveys that you're sending, as well as the more specific ones.
Sure. I mean, a general survey is, I mean, it's a basic NPS survey. It just asks, would you recommend, this company to your friends and family? And that is definitely, from what I've learned, it definitely works for sure. The customers who are giving you a 9 and 10 are definitely more likely to refer you and recommend you to their friends and family. And we do talk to some of those customers. And honestly, I've been actually trying out a new referral system. Not that I want to promote your referral system, but I'm going to anyways because I think it's been proving to be quite useful for us so far because we've been doing some tests with it to see how receptive our customers are to just being asked to refer us, and I've been very surprised at just how receptive customers are, because they say it all the time. Well, I'll definitely recommend you, to my friends and whatnot. You guys were fantastic. And then we sent out this referral request to them, and those same people are responding, yeah, I referred you guys. Or we actually see that, they did refer us then. Although for us, I mean, referrals are like, we're a time and situation kind of thing. Um, so it's that constant contact that matters more than anything else for us, just because like most people only ship once in their life. And as far as the rest of what we ask, and we try to keep it pretty broad in the rest of the questions we ask, just because it's a little bit difficult for our industry type, because we are the broker dispatching to a carrier, and the customer's experience during that, it could be variable depending on the performance of that carrier company.
Right.
So sometimes customers get confused on who exactly is doing what, which is
Hmm.
understandable.
Yeah.
So we try to be broad in that survey, but we do ask about like driver performance and whatnot, how the driver performed, and what would you give them as a rating, and that helps some customers, understand a little bit better what questions we're asking them in general. So it does help
Got it.
our surveys. And as far as specific surveys, we've been sending surveys to carriers specifically about certain aspects of like our communication and everything, and what they would want to see from us, as far as like a business. Um, and we're working to take that feedback and yeah, process it into our next steps.
I see. I see. So we'll talk a little bit more about communication later. But for now, I'd like to talk a little bit about something we've already touched on a little bit, but we can go into a little more detail here. You were talking a little bit about how your team makes an effort to engage customers who leave negative feedback. Could you maybe give some tips for the audience for how you can deal with these questions or not questions, queries effectively, and how you find it helpful for your team and the business in general to do this?
Sure. Right. So responding to negative feedback is definitely a lot more technical, or negative reviews and feedback. It's important to address the issue at hand and show concern and care, empathy. Because if a customer will definitely be able to tell if you don't care. That's the simple solution to that, and they'll be less receptive to doing anything for you if you demonstrate that you don't care to them.
Right.
But if you are replying to a customer, like we reach out to customers via phone and email, if they leave a negative review and we're able to determine their order, just to talk to them, that voice, it just helps with communication. It adds a little bit more personal touch to it when you reach out like that.
Yeah.
And when we actually respond to the negative review, because sometimes we're not always able to even reach them, or we don't know who they are, as is the case a lot of times. We'll ask them, like for example, Yelp has like a PM option. You can private message them, which is one of the one of the uh, can I say this? One of the few things I like about Yelp is that you can private message people and ask them for more information without making them feel uncomfortable in like a public environment. That's a nice aspect. Trustpilot has something like that as well, if you ever use Trustpilot. Um, and that does help quite a bit. I do like that, but that's the thing. It's just trying to just address their concerns, but not overstep boundaries, if that makes sense. Because we definitely want to try to address the issue at hand. And when we reply, and we don't reply just for that customer, we reply to be educational to other people viewing that review as well. That's a big thing for us, because I talked about it a little bit earlier, where we are a super niche industry. Most people only transport their vehicle once in their life. And yes, we have plenty of repeat customers as well, and we work with dealerships and other such companies. But your average person who's relocating for a home, like across the country or something like that, they may only be doing that once in their life. And it's a little bit too much to expect that they read and although we would love it if they read everything we sent them, as far as documentation and emails and all that stuff. Fact of the matter is that most customers don't, and that probably applies to most businesses. They just don't read everything, or they don't understand everything. So and a lot of our negative reviews are misunderstandings, unfortunately. And and as I talked about, we are always taking steps to try to correct those issues and make
Right.
sure we're providing better insight. So when we reply to reviews, we make sure that we are being empathetical, understanding of the customer issue at hand, but also trying to be educational and informative. To let them know, hey, this is what happened during this situation. This is the situation that occurred, and we apologize, but please understand that this is the steps that are to take place in situations such as this and your specific issue, or something like that. It depends. I'm not gonna do a full-on example, but yeah, education is important for us.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. As a consumer myself, when I'm looking at a review site for a business I'm interested in, though there's going to be negative reviews, but I think it's very important to just get your side of the story out there as well. I mean, even if you can't satisfy that particular customer, just for anyone looking at it, it's great for them to know, like, oh, this isn't just a clear example of them messing up. There's actually some kind of issue, and it looks like they're taking real steps to fix it. So that's huge.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. Like we just want customers to know that we do take, like, yes, you had an unsatisfactory experience, and we understand, and we want to try to make it better if we can, and we'll do what we can in order to do that. But at the same time, we just want to make sure everything is clear in regards to what exactly it is that happened and what we're doing as a company. And this way, when another customer sees that and they book an order with us, they may have questions on that issue, or they may want us to address that specific issue further, and we can. We actually have that quite often, to be honest. A customer will read our reviews and they'll see our replies and they'll ask us about that situation in a bit more detail. And they'll ask, a good example would be like our dates policy for transport. We provide customers with estimates for when their vehicle will be picked up and delivered, and a lot of customers can get that confused when we provide them those dates, and they're not exactly sure, what all that means. So that even because if you're doing a service like Uber or something like that, an estimate means very much different things than it does for an auto transport type company, or even other logistics-based companies when they're providing you dates and times for stuff. There's a big difference in what that means.
Yeah, yeah. So I do want to go back and touch on something you said earlier, which is I'm not going to comment on the Yelp thing, but yeah, I mean, it is important to take this to a private setting. I don't want to turn this out into a full drawn out back and forth. Just want to make sure that you're addressing the customer's issues. You can leave a phone number, an email address, and take it through there.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Sure. I didn't state that, but yes, when we do respond, we do provide contact information. If there's one thing, and you'll see a lot of resources that indicate this as well, and that's to not start an argument. That's the last thing you want to do. When you're addressing a customer issue, it's basically the rule two. You basically want to address it within two replies at maximum. One is definitely preferred. So whenever I reply to something, I provide our contact information upfront, and encourage them to reach out to us in order to further address that issue, or if they have any other comments or concerns or anything. Because I mean, a lot of the customer issues are private information involved. And we don't want to disclose some of that stuff online, for other people to see. Last thing we want is that customer giving us their phone number in their reply to us in a review. Like you don't want that at all.
Right.
Like that's not good for that customer's safety, or personal or privacy or anything like that. So we definitely push them to contact us in a private space. Especially if we have to get like their order information or something like that, because like I said, we don't know who every customer who leaves a review is. So we definitely try to push them to please contact us with your order information so we can provide assistance.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So we'll move this forward a little bit. So we just talked about connecting with customers through reviews and surveys, but you mentioned communication earlier. How are some of the ways that you're connecting with your customers and connecting with some of your partner businesses as well?
Sure. Yes. I mean, communication is the most important factor of any company like ours or any company out there. And customers want to contact you on the channels that they are comfortable with. That is definitely what we've learned. So we've definitely been periodically expanding, what avenues we're using to contact customers. A big one being text messaging. Customers prefer to text your business a lot of times, at least for us. So that is a channel that is available for us. Customers can text us, and we'll provide them with help. Obviously phone calls. We have call center stuff and all that, like any other business does. phone calls, text message, email. We offer support over social, although we don't really get contacted much on Facebook and Twitter and such. We're not the biggest when it comes to social media. Our industry is not very interesting when it comes to social. Um, but we are available, on those channels if a customer wants to reach out to us. Yeah, that's the big thing. Just anywhere a customer wants to reach us, we try to be present there.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. It's important, I saw this stat recently, I believe it was from Microsoft, where they said 66% of customers contact businesses through 3 channels or more. I mean, that might be text messaging, might be Facebook Messenger, might be email, but it's just important that businesses are able to offer the same great experience across the board.
I have actually seen that stat as well, and yeah, I agree. We definitely have customers who will live chat us in the morning, call us in the afternoon, and then send us an email the next morning. Yeah.
But yeah, important to just make sure that your team is just on top of all of these communications. So we'll keep moving forward. Well, remind me again, Richard, how long have you been a customer experience manager at Montway?
For Montway, I've actually been here. That's a very good question. I think we're approaching like 6 years, to be honest,
Oh, well.
that I've been with Monzway. But I have not been the customer experience manager the whole time I've been here. I've done some other departmental business, um, and but my big thing is communication. And there was they needed somebody to do something like this, and I think I've been doing this for over 2 years now. I'm at yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, like Richard said, communication is a essential part of customer experience and just essential part of life in general. Well, I'd love to hear from your time at Montway, or at least in the last 2 years. Just an example of maybe a customer who came in with some bad feedback and you took some real steps to improve overall experience.
Sure. Yeah, we get feedback all the time on pretty much everything that you can think of. And some of it, we do have to take in different avenues, because some of it's just known issues that we are just not able to address at this time, and we do address a priority to a lot of stuff. I would say a good example. So just to clarify, you're basically asking like customer feedback that's provided to us that we took and did real change with.
Yeah, yeah, made real changes to your operations.
Yeah, I would say a big thing that we get a lot of feedback on, and we still do, and something we're still in the progress of working on, is our communication. And it's not necessarily how much we communicate. It's a factor of like just some of the language that we use in our descriptions of specific things.
Right.
So a good example would be a bill of lading. I wonder how many people here could actually tell me what a bill of lading even is.
I
And the
cannot.
simplest of that is a bill of lading is a vehicle inspection report. When your vehicle is picked up or delivered, or delivered, the driver will do an inspection of your vehicle, and they'll have it'll either be digital or paperwork or something like that. And it's basically they'll do an inspection of your vehicle, and there'll be a form that they fill out that has a picture of the vehicle on it, and they'll mark damage and all that stuff, and then they'll have you sign that form. It is the most important document that you will ever have in your life when it comes to our industry type. Yeah, it is imperative that that form is properly filled out and signed at both pickup and delivery. But and the thing with that is, well, explain that to customers and the terminology used to explain that form in general. And we use the term bill of lading because that is what it is called. Like that's actually what it is. But customers, it's a bit too much to expect customers to understand what that form
Right.
is when you're using such terms. So we've changed that up a lot to vehicle inspection form. That's a much more understood term. And that's just based on our customer feedback of just basically stating, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was never given any form or something like that. It's like, yes, you were. I have that you signed it and looked over it. But it's the inspection form that you filled out, the document that showed the picture of the vehicle on it. that form, and then they're like, oh, I get it. Like I don't understand what you were for. So we're still looking on improving the language of like how we present that. And right now when we explain it to customers, it's a vehicle inspection form or vehicle inspection. Yeah. And then they tend to like when you say that vehicle inspection, it's much more clear the what it is that you were talking about because it's like, oh, they're inspecting my vehicle. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, great example. I think that really shows all of us, we're all stuck in our industries. And it's really hard to look at a lot of these things as, a customer who might not be familiar with the same terminology as we would. So,
Yeah, there's a lot of terminology in our industry that most people would never need to know in their life. And there's a lot of terms in that our company specifically uses internally, and that we shouldn't be using with customers. And sometimes, unfortunately, our our employees do. And it's just because we're so used to using it on a daily basis, because that's what we do. But we can't expect that our customers fully know what those terms are and everything. And it just can sometimes make it difficult if we're doing that for them. So we're definitely trying to simplify our language.
got it, got it. Yeah, I think that's something all of us can work on. So, um, again, you've been at Montway as a customer experience manager for about 2 years now. In that time, what kind of progress have you seen in terms of improving your customer experience?
Progress. I would definitely say we've definitely made some significant progress for sure. We did have, as I talked about, communication. We had a lot of other communication issues that we've been able to take our feedback with, and we continue to fix and improve upon, and just making sure that we're providing customers with what they need to be successful when they use our service. And I would say that yes, yeah, we've since I've definitely been here, and I've definitely seen that improvement come along, just because we've been trying to facilitate and push our feedback more to our different departments and making sure that they understand where our customers are having issues at, so that way they can properly address them.
Got it, got it.
And we've definitely seen significant improvement. Our reviews have definitely been much better. We've been getting a lot more reviews. Customers have definitely expressed to us that they are much more happier than than we've seen in the past. And that's not necessarily to say that we had like poor reviews or feedback in the past either. But we've definitely seen an increase. Yeah, we've been a top-rated company for a long time now, and the fact is that we continue to be that, and that's the main thing that we strive to continue to improve upon. Because it's not enough to just settle. We want to continue to improve and continue to display why we are the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of um, touches on something that I said in the introduction. I mean, better experiences that you offer, the better communication that you offer, better reviews you get. And I mean, reviews are a major factor in terms of search engine optimization. So that means you're getting discovered by more customers. And again, better communication, better operations from that feedback. It's a virtuous cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. And and I think I mentioned it earlier as well. For our industry, it's because we're so niche. It's yeah, definitely one of the most important factors. We want to make sure that we're always providing the best experience that we can.
Absolutely, absolutely. So almost done here, but Richard, I don't know if your boss ever comes down and asks, like, hey, how have we been improving in customer experience? I mean, if this does happen, what do you tell them?
Um, I'm sorry, one more time. If my boss comes down and
Yeah, if he's asking like, hey, how have we been improving customer experience in the past few months? Do you show him any numbers? Do you give him any
oh,
kind of
yeah, I actually so I have data studio reports, and I use the reports in Birdeye as well, and I kind of put together some sophisticated like blueprints just showing like, hey, this is what we're seeing right now. These are the issue types that we have. This is how we're improving. This is what we can improve on. No, I'm a big data person. Like I love data, maybe a little bit too much, and I try to just put together as much of that as possible. But I also understand it's important to make it presentable. I can't just show spreadsheets,
Yeah.
so I do try to make some presentable reports that go out to our managers and everything. We actually have like weekly and bi-weekly meetings about that stuff as well, and and we do competitor analysis, internal feedback overviews, everything and everything that you can think of, just to make sure that we're providing our data in real time to the people across our company. And they always have access to our reports also. So if they want to look at it independently, they're more than welcome to.
Awesome. Awesome to hear. Yeah. I mean, just having that data is first of all valuable for you, so you can see how things have been improving, and a great way to just communicate it across the organization. Just like, hey, here's how our efforts have been paying off. Here's how things have actually been changing.
Yeah, and if we make changes somewhere as well, we have that data present, so we can see like how it affects us and everything, and maybe like steps we could take to improve upon that.
Right, right. So we're getting close to the end here, but my last question for you is what advice do you have for any businesses or any customer experience managers who might be listening in the audience right now? What advice do you have for them to supercharge customer experience? That's the name of the webinar, just like you have at Montway.
Well, I think the first step would be to respond to your customer reviews and feedback. That's going to make a huge difference.
Right.
And just reaching out to customers who have issues, who leave you feedback. Because yeah, I'm assuming everybody here has a feedback system in place, so it's just a matter of what to do once you actually have that feedback. Um, and the steps would be to reach out to those customers, get more information from them, understand their issues, and just take that information and put it into actionable data and plans is really the best step. Respond to customers, understand their needs and issues that are present, and proceed forward with that. That's what's going to make the real difference. Just interacting and responding to them. And even if even your happy customers, they always appreciate you reaching out and just thanking them for submitting their feedback or leaving a review or something.
Well said. Well said. So, well, thank you guys so much for watching. We will get to the Q&A shortly, but well, if you are interested in some things that me and Richard were talking about, we do recommend getting started with Birdeye. As Richard just said, responding to customer feedback, making sure that all of this data is in reports that you can use to communicate across your organization. Birdeye can help with that. We allow businesses to send automatic review requests, automatic survey requests after a purchase, and the dashboard also allows you to take a look at that feedback, respond in a timely manner, and has reports as well. So you can see how Net Promoter Score has been increasing over time, review rating, everything that you would get from your feedback. So if you're interested in getting started, send us an email at sales@birdeye.com. We'll take some time, understand your business's unique need, and if we really are a good fit for you, we'll take it from there. But anyway, it's time for the Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to type it into the chat box. We'll try to go through as many as we can. So it looks like we have a couple already. So first off, someone asks, will we be able to get a copy of this recording? So the answer to that is yes. We will be sending an email later today with the recording. So you will be able to get that. Next is, this is a question for Richard. Someone asks, do you ever find that customers are bothered by review requests or survey requests?
Bothered by review or survey requests? Yes, yeah, we do get complaints about that. That is 100% correct. But it's honestly so few that I don't feel it's a big deal. And honestly, the important thing is opt-out requests. That's the important factor. When we're sending these, emails and text messages requesting reviews and feedback from them. We also make sure that the opt-out stuff is included in that as well. Because if they don't want to leave a review or feedback for you, then they should have the ability to opt out of that request. But some will respond and they'll say like, I don't want to receive any requests from you anymore, blah blah blah. And in those cases, we will kindly respond to them. Actually, we won't respond to them because they don't want us to talk to them anymore, but we will opt them out at least. That way they don't receive anything else. Because sometimes we can respond to them, letting them know that they have the option to opt out. But some customers or some people who receive those requests may not fully understand how that works. So
Got it.
it's easier a lot of times to just make their life easier and go the step for them to just opt them out. And sometimes, yeah, actually, I think that kind of answered that question. It doesn't happen very much though, and it doesn't hurt to send them requests, and especially if your pacing is fine. Like when we send out requests for feedback, it'll be like they'll get that initial request, and then we do like a few follow-up emails, but we pace them out far enough in between that they're not getting a request like every day, for the feedback, because that's what's going to cause them to be upset if they if they're getting a request from you every day for like 10 days in a row asking for them to leave a review. Nobody wants that. So
Absolutely.
I always ask myself the question, do I want to receive this email every day? And the answer to that question is usually no. So we try to space it out a bit.
Definitely. That makes a lot of sense. So here's a question from Amy. She asks, this is from a slightly different industry, but I think your knowledge should be applicable here. We're in property management, and it's difficult to make people who don't get their deposits back or getting denied on their applications. How should we respond to these people as they are angry and wanting to just vent about their issues? What's a good response for them?
Don't get their deposits back? Do you mean like cancellations? Do you have cancellation fees? Is that what you're referring to? I'm not sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So security deposits, Amy clarified. So I'm guessing, maybe there's some damage happened to the property. Correct me if I'm wrong, Amy. Maybe some damage happened to the property, and they're not able to get those deposits back, and then they're just venting.
Right. Um, well, I mean, yeah, I will say I'll bring up a good example. Like for our company, we do have like cancellation fees. Like if you cancel your order after we dispatch, we do have a cancellation fee, and that's because when we've dispatched your order, we've already done so much work that like it wouldn't be fair for us to not be paid for all the work and time and hours that we've already put into doing your service. And our explanation, we do get quite a few negative reviews for that, unfortunately. But I think the most important factor is just being transparent when it comes to that. When a customer books an order of us, or even available, like our policies are available on our website all the time, and they indicate what our cancellation fee is pretty clearly, and we do make sure that's in our emails as well. And of course, like I just said, we still get a bunch of negative reviews and feedback about that. And the best way to address that is, like I said, to just be transparent about what your policies actually are. Sometimes we do make exceptions, and we'll do a refund for those customers if we feel that the situation is justified. But a lot of times, we have to make the hard decision of no. And I guess that would apply to like your security deposit type thing as well. I don't 100% know. Obviously, if somebody caused damage to the property, you would expect that that person would take responsibility for it, and that's why you have the security deposit. Does that make sense? Hopefully.
Yeah. So I guess it's really just saying like, hey, like, we're sorry you had a bad experience, but
Yeah.
this is the policy that we have in place.
Exactly. We're sorry to hear that that you had a bad experience with our services, and please understand that this is part of your agreement, of our company providing the services at hand. If in the event that and blah 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 blah, there is damage, to the property, your security deposit would be used to cover that. I mean, that's really the best you can do, and you have to keep in mind you're educating other people who are looking at that, because not everyone may realize that that's the case. They could just think that this person is just angry for no for because that person's review could lead others to believe that you as a company did something unjustifiable to them, and your reply to them is basically going to provide the educational factor there that helps clarify your business and your expectations and what you do. Because I don't think because having that fee or whatever, that's not like bad for your company or anything like that. That makes complete sense, right? Hopefully. um, and no, it's you have to stand by that. Yeah.
Absolutely. So a couple more questions here. Looks like we have a fair amount actually, which I see as a good thing. So here's one. So how do you get customers to give reviews on multiple platforms such as Yelp, Facebook, and Google? So before Richard answers that, I want to throw out a short little disclaimer here. So Yelp is kind of a special site. It has a very different policy than most review sites out there. They don't allow businesses to solicit reviews. If you are caught doing this, you could face a penalty there. So that's just for Yelp. However, Facebook and Google are game. The Yelp decision is pretty controversial, but we won't go into that. So Richard, how do you collect reviews on platforms like Facebook and Google?
Well, we do use Birdeye, and part of that, the tool that they have allows you to basically we send out like email and text messages that to the customers, and in that email slash text, oh, oops, sorry, alarm going off. in that in that email and text, when they go into it, we give them options for where they can leave reviews from, because that's just how the app is set up. And they click on those and then they go to whatever review sites to leave a review on. Right now we're focusing on like our company specifically is focusing on transport reviews and Google to lead customers to. Transport reviews is like a niche review site for our industry, and Google is Google, who you should always point customers to. Yeah, but that's how we do it. And I mean, obviously, it's whatever review sites are available to your company and whatever you want to prioritize in. We do have like multiple different templates, because we'll change up where we want to direct customers to. We are pretty like while we only focus on a couple sites at a time, we're actually pretty you can find reviews for us everywhere. So yeah.
Right. I'll add on a couple things to what Richard just said. So yeah, basically it's important to pay attention to any specific sites within your niche, but Google is king. I mean, that's probably the first thing that customers will see once they Google you. So pretty much for any industry, you just want to make sure that you're doing great on Google. Of course, Facebook is big too. So here's one more from Marta. Do you read that wrong. Do you recommend attaching a URL link into a review response? So I'll take this one on, and Richard can add on if he wants. The answer to that is yes. The reason for that is, I mean, you probably have a lot of happy customers out there. I'm sure everyone on this call does, but a lot of them just aren't willing to just take the time and just find your profile on different review sites on their own. I mean, they're busy people, they lead busier lives. So attaching a URL link is great because all you have to do is just click the link and leave a response. I mean, it's so easy for a customer and you'll see much better results. A platform like Birdeye can help you do that because we do send these automatic review requests to customers after a purchase or after any other trigger that you want to set. And these review requests can automatically link to your profile on sites like Google, Facebook, and whatever industry niche site that you have. Richard, anything you want to add to what I just said?
No, I mean, yeah, no, that sounds good. That's yeah, exactly what we do. It's just you just have to just come under the realization that a lot of customers just like they understand where to find you, but they may have trouble when it comes to when it comes to reviews. So not everyone is computer literate, and using the internet is for our customer base, for example, we deal with no offense to anybody who is older, but we do work with a lot of older customers who are not the most computer literate. So when we are requesting reviews from them, it can be difficult for them to even get to a review site in which they can leave a review for us. So it definitely helps to point them in the and point them in a direction. That's yeah, that's what we learned.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, looks like our friend Amy from property management has another question. She's saying a lot of our reviews seem to be spam in nature, fake names or unsearchable in our system, and calling us slumlords, etc. Wow. Sorry you're going through that, first of all. But I think a good way of dealing with these fake reviews is, first of all, reporting them on whatever site that they're posted on. Google, Facebook, they all have those options. Uh, However, it is not guaranteed that those sites will take the reviews down, unfortunately. What you can do in addition is, again, you can leave a response. You can say something like, hey, sorry, but we did look in our database and we cannot find a tenant with your name in our system. Are you sure you left your response to the right business? And that can show potential tenants that, this might not be an accurate representation of your services.
Yeah, that is actually exactly what we do. And I actually keep track of because as part of our review collection and reviews that we get online, we do try to match every one of them to an order. Just because it's just good to have that information. We know who's leaving reviews and where, and it just helps with our follow up as well for them and future orders. But yeah, we have quite a few orders where we are not able to match them, quite a few reviews that we're not able to match to an order. And our steps for that are, well, if we can, we'll private message them to ask them for their order information. Sometimes they will respond. Sometimes they won't. It's great when they do respond and actually give you their order information, because then I can be like, great, I would love to follow up if you to provide assistance. But a lot of times they won't respond. In that case, we will report the review as being non-customer, and we'll also reply to that review basically with what you just said here, which is basically, we don't know who you are. Like, it would be like, unfortunately, we're unable to. We appreciate you taking the time to provide feedback. Unfortunately, are you sure you have the right company though? We're not able to match you with an order that exists. Again, a transparency factor. With an existing order. And if it's like something like Yelp as well, we'll also make sure to include that we sent you a private message and haven't heard a response, that kind of stuff. We want to make sure that anyone who's looking at a review and reads our response understands the fact that we've tried to contact this person multiple times and they have not responded to us. That kind of thing. Because yes, fake reviews unfortunately are a big prevalent thing, both positive and negative. You want to make sure that your reviews are genuine, and we strive really hard to do that. And it always sucks when we have a review posted, they're describing some crazy situation that we've never seen before in our life, and we have no idea who this person is, and they will not respond to us in any way whatsoever, and we'll report the review, and it won't get removed. It's just like, I feel so sad right now. Like, I don't even know what to do. But the best steps we could take are to just we not only report to review, but I guess a good example would be for Google. We report to review, and for some cases, depending on what it is, because I understand they're busy, I'll like reach out to Google support on Twitter or something like that. Any avenue in which I can try to get a hold of somebody who can take another look at the situation, just because it's like, those are obviously detrimental to your business. They affect your rating. And that matters a lot, even if you do reply. Still, you still want to reply, because most customers not only read your review, they read your reply. So we just try to make it transparent that we attempted to reach out and resolve the issue, and unfortunately, we can't identify this person with an order. Yeah.
Right. So we are running a little bit low on time. So we'll take one more question. This one is from Marta. So she asks, how do you redirect a negative review in Google to a private channel in order to avoid personal details on Google? So yeah, Richard, I mean, let's imagine you get a negative review in Google. How do you take that review to a private place and get that sorted out?
You just ask them in your public reply. You'll just ask them to contact you. You could provide a contact phone number and an email. That's usually what I do. You address as much as you can in the review, and you ask them to reach out to you so you can provide further assistance. Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah,
please
well
reach out
said.
to us. I was gonna say this. Please reach out to us at phone number and or email with your order information so that we would love to provide further assistance. Something like that.
Absolutely. Clear to the point, totally works. Well, thank you guys so much for attending, and thank you so much, Richard, for your insights. I feel like I learned a lot today, so appreciate it. And yeah, everybody have a great day now. You will get a recording of this webinar through your email shortly. Bye
Thank you
now.
for having me.